Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm feeling much better. Still not 100%. If you watched the last video, you know I came down with the vid, the Rona, and it kind of kicked my butt a little bit. I wasn't all that sick, but the fatigue of the whole thing has kind of kicked my ass. Still fighting with the tiredness and the fatigue and all that. Sorry about the last video. I had a bunch of stuff filmed and head was not there, and I don't know what happened. All of a sudden I got a 15-minute video and I had to cut it down and move some stuff around, so this video will probably be jumping around a little bit as well. Like I said, I am feeling much better. I did go back to work this week, which like I said, the fatigue is real. If you've had it, you know. The garage, it's freezing today. It's like 3 degrees outside without the wind chill. It's like minus 15 degrees with the wind chill or something. It's freezing. First time I actually fired up the heater this year. So we've been collecting parts, moving along, doing stuff. You remember the last video, I tore the whole interior out. I welded up all the holes that I could for now until I get the dashboard out. See, that's where I had to fix a patch in the floor, because when I originally was doing the seat mounts in this thing years ago, I notched out a section of the floor to get the seat as low as I could on top of the subframe connectors. So I went and repatched that, did that much nicer now. I've learned how to, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still can't weld sheet metal worth of crap, but it's way nicer. You see I welded up, you know, that's the factory Speedo wiring for the Fox body. I found before I put the mid plate in, this is where the tranny mount is, that's welded to the body. It started to pull away from the body and it tore the floor a little bit. It's welded there, welded. The little holes welded here, I seam sealed all the welds from where they did the subframe connectors, because there's just very small pinholes through the welds, which I could have went and welded it all, but I'm like, I mean, very small pinholes, so I just seam sealed it all. A couple of small holes. I have to re-drill holes, but I'm going to do that after to hold my fuel lines back up. Alright, so I'm going to do it after. Well, I'm going to do it now, but I welded them all up because they were really big, and I don't know why. I only had like 10 30-second screws or 10/24s, whatever. Right? Just drilled and tapped inside of the pan. But it's cool because those M5 connectors, right? You can just get this cable that plugs in. You know, same on the sensor. M5 connected on the sensor. Right? And it loops right around. And you have your one harness now that goes up into the car. So once I get this transmission in the car, I'm going to make this harness, because I got 3 sensors now in this one block. So you got your, this is the same for like the 2, 3, 4 blocks. So it's just the same harness. So you got all 6 wires here. So you got your power, your 5 volt, your ground, and signal. Obviously we're only using 3, but I'm going to leave it in case, you know, I add another sensor there, another temp sensor. You know, maybe I do coolant in to see how much, or coolant out, temperature out, to see what the cooler's actually doing. But this thing is so nice. I love this. I wish I could get a shorter made cable. Anybody know who makes M5 cables? Now I just got to get the lines made. Went over that to here. I still got to take this sensor off, you know, over to here. I got to measure them. Sorry, I'm still measure those 2 hoses. And a couple of the companies like Fragola and stuff do pre-made -3, so I can get those hoses done, and that thing will be ready to go back into the car. Should be sending my converter out in the next week or so. I think I have the money for that now. Get that fixed, and once that's fixed, I can put the transmission back in the car. Manifolds still haven't shown up. Those will be here. Actually, I have a bad feeling they got delivered today. I picked up a swag table, swag off-roading. Garage is a mess. Again, if you can't tell. Freaking, only working on the car for a half an hour. You ain't got time to clean up. You're already too tired by that. But I did pick up this swag off-road table, which is pretty slick for my Bauer bandsaw to turn this thing in. It's already much nicer to use this. But one thing I'm battling with, can't hard to tell, but it's kind of tilted. So I've been messing with the screws and grinding it and trying to get in there and get that thing straight. I've gotten it pretty close, but it's still a touch off. And I think I need to do a little more grinding on the saw. Originally I thought it was the holes were misdrilled, but I think it's the saw. It's Harbor Freight. And I got some combat abrasive belts, ceramic belts. Hopefully this will make grinding on the metal easier. What else are we doing? What else did we get? Oh, the one thing, I think I mentioned it. I didn't need it, but it's something I've wanted for a while. If you know, you know. M&M Transmissions makes by far the best shifter available. The automatic shifter available for these cars, period. There's no one better. I had a Precision Performance product shifter in the car prior. Wasn't a huge fan of it. Lots of people like them. When you compare it, it feels like a cheap piece of crap. And before drag week, I had to take that whole thing apart because it wouldn't even shift correctly. Because everything was the metal was, they didn't use like the correct aluminum versus a steel pin, and what's happening is that thing was shifted so many times that it eventually wore out and was causing the shifter to bind up. So I had to go in there and grind it all down and do everything and smooth it all out, and the thing shifted better than new after I was done with it, but it's still something that was obnoxious. And I didn't buy, if I known what I know now, back then I wouldn't have bought that shifter. I would have always bought a rear exit cable just because it makes life easier, and I would have bought an air shifter one. I don't have to use the air shifter, but it would have been nice to have. I bought an M&M shifter. This thing is retarded nice. It's really light. Got an air shifter solenoid on it. Rear exit cable, neutral safety switch. You could actually fit all 4 of your fingers on here instead of like the Precision. Yeah, I mean, it is just, it's butter smooth. What I like about it is you can skip reverse. So you go from park right to neutral, and I mean, it's butter smooth. The only thing I don't like is how far this thing goes forward in park. That's the only thing I really don't like. So it's gonna make me set this thing further back in the car. So be it. So then I had the whole interior out. I kind of wanted to get rid of the forward exit setup and get an air shifter, because one issue I've always had going down the track is my shifts are insanely inconsistent. I'm shifting all the way from 7,000 to 7,800. Just, I don't know. So we're gonna put it on the air shifter and be consistent with that. My warranty Mickeys have shown up, and I still have a little room in there. Alright. I do want to drop the car down because these tires are 1.5 inches taller than them. So I want to drop it down 1 inch and see if we're still good. I mean, right now I have a good amount of room in there. Alright, I got one coat on half the floor. Oh, pretty good. We're going to let that tack up some, get a second coat on it, and see how much we have left. I don't even think I used a quarter of that pint, so maybe get everything painted today. Little care package from my friends over at Team Z here. Sorry, there's so much crap everywhere here. Now, sent them an email last week and was like, hey, I have this idea. Think it'll work. I was like, yeah. Find out. One thing that drove me crazy, which before I had to use it a lot, if it was a straight race car, it probably wouldn't be a problem. But being a street car, it's kind of a problem for me. I don't like notchbacks without a drag wing. It's my opinion. Kill me. I don't like them. I don't think they look right. They just look weird. I'm definitely more of a hatchback fan with a factory stuff on it. But if it's going to have a drag wing, I definitely think the notchback's a better looking car. So it had these struts on that. You know, goes up to the wing, holds it to the bumper so the wing doesn't flap around. Undoing these every single time you got to put fuel in the car, got obnoxious. So I emailed them and was like, hey, you make a strutless wing. Is there any way I can buy the supports for it? Yeah. So these are, I don't know if they're gonna work. I've got my fingers crossed. We're gonna try to convert my wing into a strutless. So Team Z sells a strutless wing. These are the aluminum supports for it. And what they do is they rivet onto the trunk and then they bolt down to the wing. And there you go, there's 4 of them. Now, the difference is this wing, this is the reason why I didn't just take the wing off and put a strutless wing on. This is an Ed Quay wing. And what the problem is, I wouldn't have done this knowing what I know. It's riveted all the way across the back of the deck lid. Right? So it's up on, you know, it's a good amount. All the other ones get brackets that go to the back and sit flush with it. So you can see these are the strut mounts. You see down on the body. So what I'm hoping for is we can take said mount, and which, you know, I did foresee it being an issue, which it is. It's not meant for this wing, but I knew this going in. So as you can see, it sticks out way past. All right. I don't even know. Oh, this might be all the way over here with the angle that it's got. Yeah. So let me get a clamp so I can hold this. Well, there you go. That's how that would go. All right. Oh, I keep forgetting about my light here. All right. It's all the way. See, I didn't know if this was going to work or not. you can see the problem. It's kind of, I might be able to mold that better to the trunk, because this is obviously supposed to be way lower for the Team Z wing. All right. So therein lies the problem. It's not meant for this wing, which I kind of knew going into this. Instead of getting, I'd have to get a new trunk, a new rear bumper, and a whole new wing. I'd rather just try to fit these supports. Well, these are nice pieces. I'd love to just put the strutless wing on my car, but like I said, it would require a new deck lid, and it would a new rear bumper, and then half the car's got to get repainted. I'm not trying to do that right now. So thank you, Team Z, for sending these to me. Gonna come in a good use. So there's one wing strut welded. This actually, look at the color on that. That's a nice weld right there. So obviously I had to cut, that's an outer one. I had to cut the outers because they didn't line up the way I needed them to with the slope of the trunk. See, I got the wing off, which this is exactly why I couldn't just do a trunk. Yeah, I could probably have someone, but then I got these two, and it sucks because this is the original trunk to the car. But you know, for someone to fill every single one of these holes, smooth this, fix this, I'd be at the price of another trunk. This is gonna be a temporary thing until, you know, I'm done with all the other crap under the hood, and I'm like, all right, let's beautify it some better. I'll get a new trunk, I'll get a new rear bumper, so I get rid of these. You know, and I'll get a new wing that goes onto the trunk back here, and because look what happened is the wings destroyed the quarters. I didn't realize it touched there. You can see I got some like 3M on here, but I didn't realize it caught there, so it's screwed. Now, you have to paint half the car, and I got a little ding right here I'd like to get fixed, and a scratch. So it's like where do you stop? I got two of the, they're just held on with Clecos right now, but all the holes are drilled. I just did this one. I got the two holes drilled. I need to get the strut over here to line it up with the wing and everything, and get the 4 holes drilled for that. I don't have long enough rivets to mount these, so I gotta run out really quickly. Oh man, that thing pulled. See, this is why you test fit stuff. So I welded that out, I tacked it, I came over here, everything was great, right? Look how far off the hole is. That's how much it pulled. So we'll pull on it. It's gonna be so nice not having stupid freaking struts. Whenever I go to get fuel, maybe I'll be ambitious and rig up my trunk pop button. I don't even have to take the keys out of the ignition. That would be something, huh? Now, obviously they were too long because that wing starts at the base of the trunk, so I had to, these were fine, right angle. I cut those off, but I had to cut the ends off as well. I'm not the best at radiusing, but I got it to look very similar to what Team Z had on the end of theirs. I got one more to do. Let me tell you, that swag off-road stand is already a huge lifesaver. Lights on. Open the door. It's gonna be cold as shit now. that project is pretty much done. Obviously, it needs to be screwed down and riveted down and everything, and I gotta paint the supports, but for all intensive purposes, it's done. Look how much nicer that is, huh? And, I mean, just the clecos in here, you could see. I mean, obviously, there's not uppers in there, but... I'm super excited for this. I might put a trunk release button, like I said. Put a trunk release button in here. I don't even have to take my keys out of the ignition. We got my keys. A little more fighting around struts to pop the trunk. Oh, definitely got a little more weight to it. That's gonna be problematic. Maybe I'll put a gas strut on it, you know, gas strut in there to prevent from hitting me in the damn head. But there you go, there's all those struts. Team Z Motorsports taking care of me, getting my crap all figured out. But it's on there, and it's gonna be perfect until I do what I want to do. The only, oh, it's so much nicer to get in the trunk. Just, I am super duper excited for this. These rattle a little bit. I have to make something just to hold these out straight. You know, some sort of support from here to here just to hold them off. It's kicked my butt. I am 100% out of energy. I am, like I said, I'm fresh out of energy. It's Sunday. I'm gonna watch some football, I think. Niners are playing tonight. Hopefully they can beat the Cowgirls. Sorry if you're one of their fans. And yeah, we'll do that. As I said, wings done, floors. This is step 2. Step 1 was cleaning it, welding everything up. Step 2 was pour 15 in it. Step 3 is going to be the heat barrier, which we're not going to do yet. What else? Still trying to decide on this tube here. I think that's going to be the best it gets. It's not mirror image, not much I can do, and this is the best looking so far. So we'll work on that more next time. Yeah, I think that's about it for this one. So guys, stay healthy. It's kicked my butt. It's still kicking my butt 2.5 weeks later. Get in your garage, get warm. I got my heater on because it's freaking cold this weekend, but I'm gonna go upstairs now, grab a cold drink or a hot drink. I'm gonna go grab another cappuccino. Get to work on your hot rod, guys. Have a good night.